It's a pleasure to be here. Today we are going to make another podcast, and this podcast is going to be very different from all the ones I have already done. It's going to be totally in English because we are going to try to be shown in the United States and other countries. So I don't know what the Lord has prepared for me because things are happening so fast and I was not prepared for everything, but I'm sure He has His plans and I believe Him and I believe His plans, and His plans are the best for me and for you. Today we have a very special person to interview in our podcast. He's a guy from Florida. Yeah. And he's an amazing person. You won't believe how amazing he is. I have talked to him only for 5 minutes, and he's so great, a man from God. And I want you to know him too. He's going to tell us his story, the after and his before Christ. Aaron, it's a pleasure to receive you here. I'm so glad. You are the first man in my podcast, the first one, but not the last, I hope.
Amen.
Be my guest.
It's truly an honor to be here, Miss Rose. I mean, this is awesome. And I was making a joke. We were talking about, because I'm American, and so I can't translate everything and say everything. But I'm going to call her Miss Rose because you were asking a little bit about my past and before I came to the Lord. And,
yes.
I actually gave my life to Jesus at the age of 17. So I was still in high school, but Detroit, Michigan, if you know anything about it.
I know. Yeah. I've heard things about Detroit.
What did you hear about it? I'm nervous.
I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a murder capital of the world.
Yes, it's. So the name, it sounds like a dangerous city.
Yeah.
A place where you have many people using drugs and prostitutes and things like this. Yes. That's what I heard about Detroit. Yes. Sorry.
The good news is I didn't go too far into that, but I grew up in the church, and my biggest part of my testimony was that I thought I knew God, but I didn't. And I would go to church every Sunday, but I wasn't getting changed. And I remember, it's really silly, but my testimony starts at McDonald's.
Really? Now, McDonald's?
You guys have McDonald's here.
Of course. All of us.
Yeah. Well, I remember I was working at McDonald's, and I'm living my life, going out to clubs. We had clubs as teenagers. And I'm living my life, and I started to be convicted of certain things that I was doing. And I remember I had this boss, and he didn't like me, like at all.
No.
I'm on the table, making sandwiches. But the truth was, I was a little slow. I was a little slow on the sandwiches. So he actually had good reason not to like me.
I know.
So I tried to speed up over time, but he would pull me off the table and he would have me clean up things in the back and the parking lot where nobody's been since 1971, pulling wrappers. And I remember one time I was mopping outside as people walk in. That's infinite. Because you mop, you clean it, and walk on the water, then you clean it.
1 minute after it's dirty again.
And so this is what it was like during work. And I remember one of the worst things happened. He actually pulled me off the table one day, and he took me to what I call the wilderness. It was the women's bathroom.
Wow, I don't believe he did it.
And as I walk in the room, I mean, it was just horrible. And I blacked out. I don't remember what happened, but I remember he started yelling, "Clean it up, clean it up, clean it up." And I blacked out. I know it was clean by the time that I left. But when I started to go to church after that, instead of laughing at people that would start to cry during service or that would worship, I started to really understand that I needed Jesus for even this small part of my life, which was keeping my job. Mm-hmm. And so the relationship started there. And soon after that, I gave my life to Jesus. We were bringing in the new year, and I had some friends of mine that they were going to a club, and I used to be the one, you call me evangelist now maybe, but even back in the world, everybody would get in my car and we'd all go to the club. And then after we're coming from the club, I'd say, "Who's coming to church tomorrow?" So my car, my vehicle, my ministry was taking people from one place to another.
Yeah.
And so
it's a strategy. It was like a strategy.
Yeah.
To go with them, and then you bring them with you.
And so I remember they wanted me to bring in the new year at a club, and I wanted to go. But my mom, she put her foot down and said, no, you're going to come to church to bring in the new year. And that was weird because my mom, she was flexible. She would allow me to do basically anything I wanted. But this time she put her foot down. And so I went to church. I ended up giving my life to Jesus at that service. I don't remember what they taught. I don't remember what they were saying, but I gave my life to Jesus. But the next day when I get to school, nobody would talk to me. Well, nobody. I'm walking through the halls. And I'm wondering, and I finally get to someone that was my friend, and he says, yeah, we don't mess with you anymore. And the story was that they got someone else to take them to the club, but there was a blizzard. This is Detroit, Michigan. There was a blizzard. There was a horrible snowstorm, and the person that took them left them. And so they were stranded overnight in the cold, and they saw me as the responsible person for this. But I also understood in that moment that the separation that God did, it was the cost of following Christ, because no one knew that I gave my life to Jesus the night before. But the next day, God had done it for me. He had separated me from the world. And that's really when my journey began.
Wow. Amazing. So you began your journey with Jesus from this moment on.
Yes. The next things that happened is, I finished up school, and for some crazy reason, I decided to go to school in Florida. I had no family in Florida, didn't have any connections, but I decided to go to a community.
You decided to move to Florida.
But it was the Lord, because that's really when I started to change.
It's always the Lord.
It's the Lord. It's the Lord.
It's always the Lord's.
It was my journey, and it was just me and Jesus. And what really was happening was, as chaotic things would happen or negative things would happen, it was really him crushing. And like I was preaching a sermon a couple of days ago, and it stands out to me that Paul talks about Christ in you, the hope of glory. And then Paul also talks about that I'm in travail, birthing you, so Christ will be formed in you. Like the crushing is that Christ will be formed in us, that we would look more like him. And it's like sometimes I was so hard-headed, I would hit my head against things. And it's like, why don't you stop hitting your head? And it's because God was doing something. Maybe I wasn't listening sometimes. Maybe I was running away from the call that God had on my life. But this was the time where now I was relying on him, and supernatural things were happening. He was opening doors of favor. He was blessing me. And this is really where my journey began. I had so many powerful encounters with the Lord, and so much he was doing. But it was all that 16 years that I was in Florida before I came here to Brazil. It was all preparation. It was like I was in an oven, a cooker. Like
so this is not your first time in Brazil?
No, so I came to Brazil the first time in 2022.
22.
I came to the south of Brazil, to Curitiba, and I was doing an evangelism training.
Okay.
And I fell in love with the people.
And you have been the last evangelism in Mogi Guaçu also?
Yes.
Did you come? There. You were there.
I was there for the crusade. Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was. Yes. Everybody talked about this event. It was big.
Yes. Roberto, Charlene, amazing men and women of God, amazing evangelists. They put on that event, and it's really a testament of their dedication, of their sacrifice that they laid down. Powerful.
Amazing, Aaron.
Yes.
What else do you have to tell us about the testimony? We already understood about your testimony, but you have, for sure, you have seen miracles. You have seen many things in these crusades. Can you tell us?
Yes. So I actually went through training at Christ for All Nations. That's the ministry of Evangelist Ryan Harpanki. And currently the president is Evangelist Daniel Kalinda.
Wow.
And so my introduction, I was through some of that testing I was going through. I had a secular job. I was in business in Florida. And through that time, the Lord was teaching me so much about leadership, about people. And there were character things that would come out, because in business, you have to make certain decisions, or there's consequences to certain things that you do. And so I was going to church, and I was serving, cleaning restrooms, just learning. These are the things you have
mixing.
It's like you're cleaning a
secular,
restroom, but the Lord is like
secular job and spiritual job all together.
So that's 16 years learning.
So you had to take a decision.
Yeah.
And you took it.
And so at the end of that, I got to the point where I was crying out to the Lord to go into full-time ministry.
Full-time ministry is the best.
Yes. Well.
Yeah. No.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
There's always a cost. There's always a cost to everything.
There is always a cross everywhere.
And I was asking the Lord. It was like I was standing before a door, and the door wouldn't open. and I was crying out to God to open the door. And I knew the reason the door wasn't open was because I wasn't ready yet. And so I did some extended fasting. I was doing a lot of prayer, and the Lord started to open that door. And so when I walked into that, the door he used was Christ for all nations. And so that was a boot camp that I went through. And so that's 3 months of in-person training in the classroom. And then that's 3 weeks in Africa doing evangelism. So you were asking about miracles. And so this is kind of opening up. The first time I went to Africa, I went to Ghana, West Africa.
Ghana. And I know. I've heard about Ghana.
You've heard, yeah. Yeah, it's amazing. And it's funny because as an evangelist, like, you're out there, you're preaching the gospel. I remember I saw a young lady, she hadn't heard since like birth, in her left ear, and we prayed for her, and her ears opened immediately.
I have problems in my ears.
Well, we're gonna pray.
Will you pray for me?
Yes, we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray. God's gonna heal you. Come on.
I believe it. I do believe God is going to bring me the cure for this.
You know, it's so powerful. We would see so many miracles. Basically, what we would do is we would preach the gospel. We would kind of go into an area. We had these things called gospel trucks. And so these gospel trucks, they have kind of like a platform that comes out. So you drive into a busy market, the platform comes out. You start to play music, you start to dance, and the crowd kind of comes around you, and then you switch it up, and then you preach the gospel.
Wow.
And then you do a salvation altar call. Many people come. But then after you preach the gospel and salvation, then you do another teaching on healing. And the reason that we do that is to build people's faith, to build that, because a lot of people think, you know, like, man, maybe I'm going through this because God is trying to teach me something, or like, it's good that I'm sick because he's making me stronger. But really, Jesus said, I came to destroy the works of the devil, right? And the devil came to steal, to kill, and destroy. And that's your health, your mindset, things of this nature. And so we kind of break that down and build people's faith that Jesus wanted to heal them. And so that's why we would see so many miracles. And so I remember, though, because you could tell the fun parts, but I also want to tell the hard part.
The hard part.
Because the hard parts is what builds the character. And so
this is the hardest part, I
think,
to build the character.
Because if you talk about the good parts, you're like, I'll do that tomorrow. But like, you don't know what someone went through.
What about tomorrow?
Like, I have no idea the cost you paid and the things you went through to have this beautiful home, right?
Yes.
And so I look at the home, but I never know the tears, the things that the Lord was teaching. You know, people don't know that stuff. And so, and the reason I'm talking about that is because you're talking about my before and my after. But the truth is, there's always a before and after. Even after we give our lives to Jesus, there's still I was at a point, I was saved, but man, like, I got to this point here. And I look back like, was I saved? Like, was I saved? Like, God, or he saved me again? I don't know.
Yes.
But, and so we'd be there, and I was so sick. Like, you hear about the miracles, but I was so sick. And I remember I would be preaching the gospel, see so many miracles, salvations, and I had to get off the gospel truck and run to the bushes and use the bathroom. and there's like somebody yelling at me because I'm in their backyard. Like, it's true story. And then I would like run back, and I'd get in the van, and I'd
oh my God! Now I need some sleep.
This was Africa for me that first time.
Wow.
So after that experience, I started to work for Christ for All Nations for the ministry, and then I became a leader. I became the outreach director, and so it was later my job to train the evangelists before, as we were in Orlando during that 3 months of training. And then I was a leader when we went back to Africa. And so this is a time where I got an opportunity to use strategy and do different things to see even more salvations. And my job was to, in the morning, we sit down with the team and we talk to them. And I would ask them, okay, what do you want to see today? Do you want to see more healings? Do you want to see more salvations? Like, what do you guys want to see? And it was interesting because it was such a beautiful learning experience for me, because sometimes we would sit down, and the day before, I remember we broke a record with the most salvations, and like everybody, there's different teams and different leaders, and everybody's hearing all these salvations, and they're thinking that I'm like, punching these people, like, let's go, let's do it. That wasn't the secret. And I remember everyone came back to me. We were sitting down at the breakfast table. All their team leaders were with their different teams. Mm-hmm. And I remember sitting down, and we had just broken a record. Like, we got so many salvations. And I asked them, I said, like, how are you guys doing? And then I asked again, no, but how are you doing? And like a girl just started weeping at the table. Now, these are evangelists. Some of these people, they're like the biggest evangelists in their city. They're, maybe in Australia, maybe in Africa, maybe in Europe, and they've come to Orlando to receive this training. and they're breaking down weeping. And I started to talk to them about, when you go through certain things, like this is the Lord developing character, but sometimes we need to be in the secret place. Like sometimes it's not always about...
We need this special secret place.
We need it.
We need it, of course.
It's not always about...
If you just go and say, okay, I'm going to work for the Lord, but if you don't have your secrets with the Lord, we were in trouble. You need it.
You have to have it. You have to have it. And so really, I had the conversation with them. I said, how about we do this? We know strategy on how to get salvations. How about we get the average amount of salvation that everybody else is getting? And then how about we go to the mall, we get some ice cream, and then we come back early, and then you guys rest. You spend some time with Jesus. And they loved it. You could feel the weight coming off everybody.
They loved the idea.
They came off a day where they saw record-breaking salvation. They came to the table worried, like, we got to do it again. But that's not what Jesus is asking for. And I want to talk to somebody that you might be listening to this right now. And you might feel like Jesus just wants more out of you. But I'm telling you, what Jesus wants is your heart.
Is your heart, yes.
Because some of the headaches that we go through, if we give Jesus our heart, we don't have to hit our head. And so this is the things that my before and after, because the truth is right now I'm before something, because there's something that's going to be after. And really what the Lord's been speaking to me about is, man, my own heart, like the areas that I have to grow. Like there's so many things that I see, so many areas of my own heart where I'm like, man, God, like I still haven't grown in that area. I was visiting with a friend in Orlando a couple months ago. And he's a really good friend.
Yeah, funny.
Yeah, he's a really good friend. We always laugh.
Yeah.
And I remember I was talking to him, and we were talking about correcting leaders. And he was telling me that he was having a conversation with someone that it was business. He's in ministry also, but it was somebody in business. He was like, don't correct like the leaders. Like I've already had conversation with them. Like, yes, they understand the problem. Don't say anything. And we're talking about this. And then we started talking about another leader he was trying to correct. And I was like, wait a minute. 6 years ago, before I came to Brazil, we were having this conversation. He was the worship leader at a church. I was like the assistant at another church. And we were having conversations about leaders and everything. And we literally had a conversation where we knew we need to just be quiet, listen, and learn. But both of us made the mistake of correcting our leaders. He was removed from the church. I was removed from a different location. And I said, 6 years later, we're having the same conversation. And I said, man, you're not going to want to hear this. But spiritually, we haven't grown. We've gone in circles. 6 years.
Like the people in the desert, walking around.
And he said to me, man,
so
you didn't have to say it out loud.
it means you'll never be on the promised lands.
And you know what's
You'll
scary?
never be there.
What's scary about that is you can do that your entire life. You can do that for 40 years. You can do it for 1 year. You can do it for 6 months. But until we learn the lesson, we're just going in circles.
We're just going to walk in circles.
And so it was a conviction to me. And it was funny because he said, man, you didn't have to say it out loud. Like you didn't have to say, I mean, like.
Yeah, don't have to, just think about, don't say that. Yeah.
So that's really, and so those are the things in our hearts, and for everyone it's different. But for me, that's been an area. And I think it goes back to my relationship with my father and just learning from him and traumas and different things where we make decisions and we don't realize that the decisions that we're making are affecting our outcome.
Yes.
And it might be because of hurt. It might be because of pain. But I remember someone in business was saying, once you get to a certain age, you can no longer blame how you grew up. Now we have to start to take accountability. We have to change those things. And so that's what the Lord's been speaking to me. And so I'm still looking. I know that the Lord has more for each and every person that's listening. But the truth
God
is,
has many things for all of us. And he's always allowing us to grow up.
Yeah.
We have to grow up.
We have to.
With Jesus every day.
Yes,
because we know nothing. We are just learning.
Yes.
And we have to grow up. I'm always asking the Lord to make me learn faster.
Yeah.
I'm learning from him every day. And I'm learning with you now.
What's the Lord been speaking to you? I know you're
no.
You got some wisdom,
Yeah,
Miss Rose.
no.
I mean, I'm talking to you, but you done seen some things. You done been through some.
No, I'm here to interview you. Someday you come here and you are going to interview me. Not today.
Okay.
I'm not prepared to. But someday I'm going to give my testimony. As I told you some time ago, Daniel told you, I almost died 2 years ago. And I think that was the trigger. Is this the trigger for my beginning? For I just want to talk about Jesus. When I didn't die, I was supposed to be dead now. I was supposed to die that time, and I didn't. But it was funny. You asked me, I'm going to tell you. It was funny because when I asked Jesus, and when I was there in the hospital in Tibet, and I asked the Lord, am I going to die? I asked him, and he said, it doesn't matter for you. It makes no difference. Because if you don't die, you receive something. You're going to preach my gospel. But if you die, he's a prophet, you are going to receive much more than you can receive on earth. So you shouldn't be worried about this, if you are going to die or not, because dying for you is not a problem. Dying for you is a gift. So I said, okay, but I want to finish recording the Bible. I hadn't finished it. So after I got up from my bed, I started preaching the gospel much more than I used it to be. So I finished recording the whole Bible, and I'm starting again. So I have to finish again. So Lord, I need some more time. Okay. I'm old, I know that, but I need some more time because I have many souls to gain for him. That's my intention. That's what I really want to do. That's why I started the podcasts. I want to listen many testimonies like yours. Okay. Yeah. And I know that people can grow and they can believe, and they can become stronger with testimonies. Yeah. Because we are the letter written by God. We are now these letters. Come on. You believe it?
Yeah, we're living epistles.
Living epistles.
Or living letters.
Yes. That's my job. Yeah. But I don't want to talk about me. I want to hear from you.
No, it's good. I mean, it's powerful what you said, because I actually had he's a business mentor, and he lost his life and he was brought back, and it was huge, because I'm talking to him on the phone, and I asked him, what did God show you? Like, what did you learn from that? And he said, Everett, it's not, he said, I saw the wall, like I'm laying in the bed, and he said, I saw the wall open.
My God.
And it was like a screen. And his life was literally flashing before his eyes. He was seeing different moments in his life. And he said, Everett, it's not what I saw, but it's what I didn't see. He says he didn't see the business. He's a millionaire. Amazing business, successful. But he said he didn't see any of that. He said he saw his family. He saw the love that he gave.
Yes.
He saw the patience, the people that mattered to him. And he said, now that I'm coming back, my life is about loving people, about giving, helping other people, serving Jesus.
Yes.
And so
giving hope.
Yes.
Giving hope to people.
And so it's interesting, because your podcast is about the before and after, but really it's like, what happened after you died, right? Because maybe you died in one area, but as I'm learning, there's other areas that the Lord wants us to die. But it's not until we die, it's not until we lay down our lives that we can really walk through the door. Mm-hmm. The children of Israel, they couldn't walk into the promised land until a certain level of the flesh, which really was the people that were still murmuring and complaining, until they died off, they couldn't enter in.
They couldn't enter. Only the second generation entered there.
You see this, that doors open even for Isaac after he laid down his life, and it says his mother passed away, and then the Lord brought him his wife. You see Jesus after he went to the cross, he laid down his life, then he ascended into the heavens. And so there's something that God is saying. There's something on the other side. There's an after.
Yes.
Or will you die?
There is. Yes. Yes, for sure.
And so I want to ask you, it's powerful that you had this encounter where you almost lost your life.
I'm writing a book about this, about my experience.
Would you give me a little nugget of what
Yes.
the Lord told you? Just a little nugget. It's
Of
powerful.
my book?
No, just a little nugget of like, after you came back, what
Wow.
did the Lord tell you?
Yeah, the first thing I felt, I entered in a very dark valley, very dark, but I could see the light. The light was there, and I knew I could trust the light I was looking at. So I wasn't afraid to be in that dark place, the valley of the shadow of. And then what the Lord told me is, okay, you are here and you see how terrible this place is, the valley, but you are not afraid because you can see the light. But just imagine the people who are in this valley and they cannot see the light. Wow. Because the light is Him. Wow. So I was not afraid to pass the valley and to be on the other side. I knew He was going to be there on the other side. And I could listen to Him. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. I'm here. I'm here. That's all I listened. The days I stayed in Tibet, 17 days, I only listened to His voice. I can't remember the doctors. I can't remember nurses or whatever. But His voice was very clear for me. And when I asked Him about if I was going to die or not, and He said, why? Why do you want to know? It doesn't matter for you. You have walked with me for more than 30 years, 35, 36 years, and you still don't know me? Wow. Why are you scared? I said, no, I'm not. I'm just feeling pain. I know what you're feeling, He said. I've passed it through, but worse than you are passing through. And I gave you the victory. I gave you salvation. So that's why I think that He gave me my life back. One day, a prophet was preaching for me to be cured. Everybody was preaching. Many churches, many people know me in the city. And the Lord said, let's go there and let's resurrect her. But He didn't say, I'm going there. He said, let's go there. So the whole church was going to be there to give my life back. Wow. Okay? And when the doctor asked me, we are going to take out your tube, this intubate, extubate, I don't know the name. When I take it, you have to breathe. You say, and nobody taught you how to do this. Nobody said, oh, you have to do, this is what you have to do. But then, after that, I said, okay, take it. I just did like this. I'm going to breathe. I'm going to breathe. And then He took the tube and then the Lord said, you said my name. Yes. Yes. This is the sounds of the Lord. The name of the Lord is, yeah. When you say your name, you live. Wow. That's what He told me. You were saying my name when I brought you back to life. Wow. So this was, but He said that time ago, not the same moment. I just realized that He was talking to me that moment when the doctor said, you have to breathe. If you don't breathe, you were going to die. He said, nobody taught me nobody taught me this lesson. You have to breathe. How can I do that? And I think the name of the Lord is the answer. Wow. You just say His name and you live again. That's my experience. But I have many,
That's
many more.
amazing.
I have
Wow.
many more experience. Oh, but I came here to interview you, and his
That was
interview.
so
This is
powerful.
not fair. This is not fair.
That was
Okay.
so powerful. Wow.
Aaron, it was amazing to talk to you. I think he still didn't have lunch. It's almost 2 o'clock in the 2 o'clock. I think it's more, 2:30. I don't know what time is it, but you still didn't have a lunch. I know that.
Not yet.
Oh my God. So we are going to finish. We are going to stop here. It was a big pleasure to know you. It seems to be I'm talking to the Holy Spirit.
Wow. Glory to God. Gloria a Deus.
Yeah, gloria a
Thank you-
Deus.
Thank you so much, Miss Rose, for having me. This has been amazing.
We always finish our podcasts with short answers. You have to answer them very fast.
Okay.
I love. Not you say
Bourgeois.
not only not 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 you can't say Jesus. You have to say another love.
All right, feijoada.
Who?
Feijoada.
Feijoada. This is another question. This is a
Okay.
question for food.
Okay. I mean, I love feijoada.
I love.
Yeah.
He answered 2 questions
Yes.
with one. Okay. A pain you have suffered in your life.
My mindset,
Mm.
my own mindset.
Okay. A joy.
Good memories.
Good memories.
Yeah.
Good memories. I hope
Of what God is going to do in the future.
what the God, yes, He's going to do great things, especially in Brazil.
Yes.
We are waiting for you for this, my God. A desire.
To be married.
Yeah, you are not married yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. You are going to find a great woman.
Amen.
Yeah, you will. A foodie, you have answered.
Feijoada. Feijoada.
Feijoada,
Am I
you
saying it right? Feijoada?
I don't have feijoada, but I'm sure I'm going to
No
invite.
pressure. Pressure is an answer.
Something you like to drink.
Limonada.
Limonada.
Swiss.
He loves limonada and he loves
And-
feijoada. You should be Brazilian. You are Brazilian.
Brazilian.
You are going to marry a Brazilian woman.
Gloria a Deus.
I'm sure. An evangelist you admire.
I'm evangelist Daniel Kalinda.
Daniel Kalinda. A musician you like. Can you sing?
I cannot sing.
Mm.
Musician that I like. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, no?
I don't know.
no?
You know, you're afraid to say names because what if they mess up or something crazy?
No, just sing.
But I can't think of a musician like Lily. I'm going blank right
No, not in the musician, but the music. Is,
now. Music.
the music,
Oh.
not the musician. You don't have to say the names. Just say.
I'm still messing up.
Sing something for you.
I mean, if I sing something, I gotta go old school. I gotta go old school. I don't know if you heard this song, but
Okay.
it's this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. Yeah, this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine.
Wow.
I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine. Let it shine.
Let it shine. Let's look for the song to put it. A versicle from the Bible. It's in your mind.
Jesus wept. Fácil.
Fácil. Okay. And an advice for everybody, for our spectators here. An
Never-
advice.
Never give up. Keep
Yep.
moving forward because no matter how hard it seems, you're growing in the process.
Wow. Always growing. Aaron, it was a big pleasure to have you here. I hope I can talk to you more often and in different moments. Okay?
Thank
Because
you so much, Ms. Rose.
very special man
Thank you so much.
from the Lord.
God bless.
I'm feeling so, how would I say, gifted. Yes, I'm feeling so gifted to have these people in front of me. I have received many women from the Lord, and this is the first man from the Lord. I'm sure I'm going to interview many other men, but I could never imagine I was going to do this in English. God has his plans.
He does.
He does. It was a pleasure See you next podcast. Thank you, everybody.
Tchau, tchau.